Acholi Pro Evo TV bring you a deep political analysis of Dr. Dongota's explosive experience on NBS Frontline, a speech that has quietly shaken Uganda's post-election debate. This was not a rant, this was not denial. It was a cold, calculated diagnosis of Uganda's democracy coming from a seasoned legislator who understands both opposition politics and state power. Dr. Dongota spoke about voter turnout, election credibility, the role of the military, the collapse of opposition, and the rise of transactional politicians. We break down his message part by part and explain what it means for Uganda going forward. Part 1 Analysis. Victory declared, legitimacy question. In part 1, Dr. Dongota begins by accepting President Museveni's declared victory of 71%. This is important. By doing so, he removes himself from claims of denial and positions his argument within reality. But then he introduces the real issue, voter turnout.
I thank you again for this opportunity. I personally think President Museveni should be helped by my good friend Dr. Chris Baramosi to exercise magnanimity, because the final whistle has been blown. The Electoral Commission has stated President Museveni got 71% of the votes. Of course, we have 55% voter turnout. This is the lowest voter turnout in Ugandan history. We started in 72% in 1960. I have the statistics here. Let me just read it. It should be of interest. In 1962 independence elections, we had a voter turnout of 71%. In 1980, we had a voter turnout of 85%. Now, from 1996, when I voted for Semugerere, the voter turnout was at 72%. 2001, voter turnout is 70.3. 2006, 69%. 2011, the voter turnout is 59%. 2016, again, the voter turnout went up to 67%. 2021, the voter turnout was 59.4. Now, in the last election, the voter turnout is 52%, which means out of the 21.6 million Ugandans who registered to vote, only 10 million voted. 10 million opted not to vote. So much as we say President Museveni has got 71% of the votes, it is 71% of the 52% of the people who opted to vote. So all the same is still a winner. So my appeal, why I opted to come to studio today, is to appeal to the powers that be, that the final...
By laying out historical data from 71% in 1962, 85% in 1980, down to 52% in the most recent election, Otto exposes a steady decline in public participation. His key point is simple but powerful. Ugandans are choosing not to vote. When he explains that from 71% is actually 71% of just 52%, he is not disputing the win. He is questioning the depth of national consent. His call for Museveni to exercise magnanimity is not weakness. It is a warning that ruling without reconciliation after such low turnout risks deepening political alienation. Key message: Museveni won legally, but the shrinking voter base signals a serious legitimacy challenge. Part 2 Analysis, where elections are really lost. In part 2, Otto shifts from politics to electoral mechanics, exposing what he believes is the most dangerous weakness in Uganda's elections: ballot box seals. He urges that elections are not stolen at the polling station, but after voting, where a simple bribe can break seals and invalidate recounts. is real-life examples, missing boxes, failed recounts, and wasted court time paint a picture of a system designed to defeat justice. He further explains the legal trap. Once ballot boxes are interfered with, courts are powerless due to higher court rulings. This turns recount applications into rituals with no outcome. But Otto's deeper concern emerges clearly: the military's involvement in civil politics. For him, the collapse of opposition is not the biggest threat. Militarized politics is. He rejects the idea of permanent political enemies, arguing that politics should allow movement, choice, and persuasion, not intimidation.
Maybe even before attempting to answer that question, one thing which you should invite the Electoral Commission here to talk about is about the seals. Because over 25 vote recount has failed. Because you just give some policeman 1 million to break 2 seals. So we may, instead of investing in the BVM machines, we may have to invest in electronic seals, which is like a padlock, where each party can page in a code. Because, for example, I have allegedly that I lost by 26 votes. And when we asked for the recount, 5 boxes were torn. So we are wasting the time of the judiciary, the same in Tororo, the same in Butambala. So that discussion should begin. Now, going to where you are. Yeah, yes. And
they are working.
Because there is a court of appeal ruling that once
worked for lower election.
Yeah.
Good for lower election.
Actually, there is a court of appeal ruling that once the boxes have been opened, the recount must stop. And we gave powers to the magistrates' court to recount. So they cannot undo a decision of a higher court. So this application for recount is a waste of time, because someone just breaks one seal and they walk out celebrating that they have won. But getting to your question, for me,
the state of the opposition.
Yes. What bothers me is not the state of the opposition. We have been decimated. We have lost big shots. What bothers me is not the collapse of democracy. What bothers me is the involvement of the military in our democracy. Because no one is born. I want you to show me where Semuju was born, and when they were cutting his umbilical cord, they said you should be opposition forever. It's not like a dress, like the color of, like the clothes of a hen. A hen, if it is white for the whole of his life until it is slaughtered. So I don't want to be addressed like it is our thing, Semuju, Mayor. We can also join the movement. Yeah, we are not condemned to be on one side. We can also wake up tomorrow and join NUP. We can also wake up and join PLU, anything. So this discussion of us versus them is not very healthy for this country. So in this next parliament, the opposition has been totally decimated. We have close to 70% transactional politicians, those who have come for the job because they think there is money. So there will be limited checks on the powers that be. So this parliament, in my opinion, will perform very badly because some people came looking for money.
Part 3 analysis: transactional politics and the hand of real opposition. In part 3, Dr. Odonga delivers his most uncomfortable truth. Parliament has changed character. He introduces the idea of transactional politicians. Leaders who enter politics not for ideology or service, but for personal gain. In contrast, he defines career politicians as those driven by belief systems that last a lifetime. His conclusion is startling but realistic. With the opposition numerically crushed, a constructive opposition will now come from within the NRM, not outside it. Otto warns that street protests under current conditions are extremely dangerous. The arrest of senior opposition figures are not accidents. They are signals. If prominent leaders are targeted, ordinary citizens face even greater risk. When he says waiting 10 years is not long, he's not surrendering. He is advising political survival in a hardened state.
Now, the difference between transactional politicians and career politicians is diverse. Let me give you 4 examples of career politicians. I am a career politician. With or without elections, I am in this thing. So President Museveni is a career politician. He's an ideologue. He can pursue an ideology for a lifetime. Mwanga Kivumbi is a career politician. Semuju Ibrahim is a career politician. The Speaker of Parliament is not. No. There are people who are.
I think that's personal.
No.
No, he has
you
given
see,
many
career
examples.
politicians, Semuju. No. What I'm saying, a career politician
Just
is
being a coward.
like Semuju or me. I would pursue one ideology for a lifetime, and I believe in it. Like President Museveni believes, encourage foreign direct investment so that the investors can employ the youth. It is an ideology. You really need to persuade him to abandon that ideology. He lives with it for a lifetime. But these ones of Potea Pata, like Batembe, you know, a hawker when they are passing, say, oh, how much is this? Have a cup of tea. It's very unlikely that the hawker will decline your offer. Because he thinks after taking tea, you're going to buy a kitenge. So we are seeing less career politicians in this parliament and more transactional politicians.
Does it spell doom for the struggle?
So the opposition outside the NRM is decimated. The constructive opposition, in my opinion, which is philosophical, is going to be within NRM. So the safest and wisest thing to do now is to oppose the movement from within, because opposing it from outside is a very risky business.
Are you joining?
No. That's another question for another day. It is wiser to oppose from within, because opposing from outside, these people will cut off your head. The government is armed to teeth. Now you tell me, Simon, tell me one opposition member remaining in that house. You tell me, just mention 3. You're even having difficulties on the first one. Who? Semuji is out, unbelievable. Matias Puga, Mwanga Kivumbi, Segona. Just tell me one, Dr. Chris. Tell me 3 opposition members remaining in that parliament. Just 3 like this.
Senyon, the leader of opposition.
Yeah, that is one. Second.
What's wrong with him?
And in a parliament of 570 NRM. So this parliament, in my opinion, is a done deal.
How about the struggle outside parliament?
The struggle outside parliament is a very risky business. I would not advise anyone. Personally, I would even say waiting for 10 years is not much time. Because people die. There is a term limit of God. But to go on the streets that our power, protest votes, in the current circumstances, only a mad person who can do that. They'll kill you. Can you imagine the whole of Mwanga Kivumbi in prison? The other day, Senyonyi was arrested from the airport alongside Rubongoya. If they're arresting the big shots and people are being promoted for arresting them, what about you?
Well,
So I wouldn't advise any person to go on the streets. It's not a very good business.
Key message: Uganda is entering an era where ideology is replaced by money politics, and resistance outside power structures has become high risk. Final take, Acholi Pro Evo TV. Dr. Odonga's frontline appearance was not emotional. It was strategic realism. Elections continue, but belief in them is fading. Parliament exists, but accountability is weakening. Opposition survives, but mostly inside the ruling system. Protest remains moral, but increasingly dangerous. Uganda's political question is no longer who won the election. It is now, how long can a democracy survive when citizens stop believing in the process? Acholi Pro Evo TV, beyond headlines into meaning.